Hi everyone, it's Deborah Clarke. It's May 27 and we're doing this live webinar today, and I'm actually in Alberta, Canada today with this webinar. So really excited to have made the flight from Ontario to Alberta, and I'm out here visiting with my daughter who's expecting, and she's actually joining us today on the live webinar. You can see her picture, her wedding picture down in the bottom corner. Her and her husband live in Alberta and they're expecting their first baby, and she's actually a human resources manager. So if we have any human resources questions today, feel free to put those in the chat box today too, and we will try and cover off any questions you have that way. I'm going to bring up on the screen here now the presentation for the day, and I've got a question that I'd like to have all of you think about and share with me. So just 1 second, we'll bring it up. The beauty of live. I know there's a little bit of a delay before you'll see it on your screen. We are almost there. Just give it a second and you should soon see my welcome slide, my opening slide for our session today. So you can go ahead. The question that I'm going to be asking all of you today is, what is your greatest career challenge for your job search this week? So what is your greatest career challenge for your job search this week? And if you want to go ahead and type that in the message box, and we will get to those questions as we go through the presentation later today. So you're just starting to see on my screen. There we are. So you should have it. So these are the topics we're going to cover. First of all, write your answers to that question in the chat box. Your greatest career challenge for your job search this week. We'll try and answer those questions between my daughter Jennifer and myself. And then we're going to go through a bit of a presentation this week. The class is to be a live Q&A type of class, so I want it to be customized to what your needs are, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. But we'll also have a little bit of a lesson with each class. So this week we're going to cover the 6 top job search sites, and I want to talk to you a little bit about a website called alexa.com, which is a really good search site for competitor analysis. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about that in case you don't know about them. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about LinkedIn as a job search tool. I go into that quite extensively in the Key Success Factor for Graduates training. I love LinkedIn, and you're going to get to know that more and more about me as we go through our training together. And then the last is going to be a June 2015 schedule of topics for weekly classes. So for some of you, when I originally started talking about these classes, it was going to be over a 5-week period, and it was going to end today, May 27. I'm so happy to have made communication with several of you, and I know that some of you took a bit of a break in the month of May, and you're graduating this month and really starting to think about your career search more seriously. So I'm going to stick with you through the month of June and have these weekly Wednesday classes continue right to the end of the month. So we'll go over that schedule as well. So happy you can join us, and we'll continue and get started. So continue putting in. I don't see any questions yet in your greatest career challenges this week. Go ahead and let me know what that is, and we'll address those as we go on. So the key message that in all of my materials and my presentations that I make with you is really about being proactive in your job search. It's the one, there's a few people in life who get where they are because somebody else believed in them. But for the majority of us, you have to take control of your whole life. And it's pretty important that you don't leave that to chance. So all of my training and the learning that you'll be going through with me is really telling you to be proactive in your job search. This month, in the month of June, I'm going to hold you accountable to be proactive. I mentioned in the training sessions that we go through together that I'm going to hold you accountable no matter what, even when you're doubting yourself. And I know that that's where some of you are right now in the month of June. So think of June as the month that I'm holding you accountable to be proactive, and I'm presenting a challenge to you. And your challenge is to complete the 7 Key Success Factors for Graduates program in its entirety this month. That's my challenge to you. Some of you have started and stopped, and some of you, I know there's a few of you that have continued and completed the whole session, and I really appreciate the feedback that I get from you about that. But I know there's others of you that are kind of stuck. So I want this month to be the month that you develop your personal action plan, and so that you are able to secure an absolutely awesome job. If you're on the call and you're not part of the Key Success Factors for Graduates program, happy to have you joining us anyway. You'll see the link at the bottom of the page, keysuccessfactorsforgraduates.com, and the program is now available for individual purchase as well. So feel free to join the class by going to that link and getting more information and registering. So let's just jump right in and get started. There are 6 top search sites as of this month that I was able to do some research. Your screen will just take a second to flip over. The first of those sites is Indeed, which is Indeed.com. Their slogan is "One Search for All Jobs." And what is amazing about this site, when I did some research on it, is the global ranking for Indeed.com for all websites is 168. The global ranking for all websites, Indeed.com ranks 168. That's pretty amazing. In the US, look at the web ranking, 56. And in Canada, it's even got a ranking 49. It's the only one of the top 6 that I'm going to show you that in Canada that actually has a ranking. But Indeed.com. So this site is being widely used across the globe, very heavily in the USA and Canada, as the #1 job search site. So if you are not currently using Indeed.com, you better go and check that out and have a look. Second in the rankings is Monster.com, and the third is CareerBuilder.com. So you'll see that Monster.com, the global website ranking drops pretty significantly to 874, but still in the top 1,000 worldwide. Monster.com's been around for a long time. It ranks 256 in the US, and we don't have a Canadian ranking for any of the other sites, but Monster.com has been around for a long, long time. Career Builder, top 1,500, and in the USA, 361. So all 3 of these sites, if you're going to pick 3 of the 6, these are the top 3 that you should be representing yourself on. Now, something I want to mention here before I go on to the next 3 that you see on the screen now is that if you're out there and you're just blasting out, you have your resumes posted on all 3 of these sites, and you say, I'm putting out 100 resumes a month, that's not enough. That's not the way to find a job today. You use these sites more as a tool to see who are the employers that are advertising, to see what are the types of positions, what are the salary ranges. So you use it as much for a research tool, and when you find out that a company has a position that you're interested in, don't just think by submitting a resume through this website that that's enough, because it's not. You've got to do a little bit more research to see, to learn more about them, and that's where LinkedIn's going to come in and be a really handy tool for you. So we'll talk more about that. But if you're somebody that's sitting back thinking, I'm already doing this, I'm already sending my resumes out to these places, it's not enough. It's not enough by itself to do that. So before I go on to these next 3, I'll also mention to you that Indeed.com also has an app that you can download for really easy searching. So make sure you check out their apps that are available both with your iPhones, iPads, but also with your other Galaxy and smartphone products. So look up the Indeed app for easy searching. Thanks, Jennifer. That just comes from my HR manager helping us out with a little bit more information there. So the next 3 of the 6 is Simply Hired. You'll see on the screen.com. You'll see ADP Virtual Edge. Their website is virtualedge.com. And then the last is The Ladders, which was a new one to me, but ranks fairly high in the US as well. Simply Hired is one you've probably heard about. Virtual Edge, you see it's now called ADP Virtual Edge, and that's ADP is a payroll system, a data processing payroll system, and they've just recently merged together with Virtual Edge. So their ranking dropped actually a little bit in the rankings to 5,000 global and 1,300 in the US, but it actually is quite a large company that was higher in the rankings prior to this merger. So it'll be interesting to see how that one continues to grow. At the bottom, you'll see the rank research, the red arrow. It says rank research from alexa.com. So I used alexa.com to search who are the top job sites. And that's why I wanted to mention this website to you. If you don't currently know about Alexa.com, it is an amazing site that you can use not only for searching general things. So went into Alexa and I typed in the top 6 global websites for job search and was able to get this kind of competitive information. But you can use this. It's very valuable to use if you have an interview with an employer. You can go in and type in at Alexa.com, type in the employer's website, and it will come back with lots of information, demographics of people who visit their website, so you get a lot of competitive intelligence that way. You can get more competitive intelligence by finding out who are the top companies that compete against this company. So they will give you similar websites to the website you're searching. So let's use an example. If it's General Mills, which is cereals and foods. So if you type in generalmills.com, you will find out who are the competitors to General Mills. You will find out demographics of the people who use their website, which is really, really valuable insight for information going into an interview. So if you haven't already checked out Alexa.com or you're not familiar with what that is, I suggest you go and have a look and check it out. Employers expect that you will have done some research about their company before they go in. They don't expect quite as much that you're going to know about their competitors. It might be one of the interview questions, but they're really impressed when you have that level of insight about their company. So Alexa.com is a really good place for you to go to do some of that competitive analysis. And I wanted to make you aware of that today. So the next slide that I like to go on to is the top Canadian job sites. It's a fairly new site. It's jobs.ca. So it's a fairly new Canadian site. What I like about it, you'll see below the keyword location, you'll see below the top banner that there's small boxes and they've got links to just human resources jobs. Job wings is their finance and accounting jobs. They've got IT jobs, tech jobs, retail jobs, healthcare jobs. So you can go into each one of those block areas and do job searches specifically on that area. It's not ranking really high in the Alexa or global systems yet because it's a fairly new site. But I think there's going to be a lot of promise for this particular site, and I really encourage you, as it's taking off in a new direction now, I really encourage you to check it out. There's a few other Canadian sites that you can consider. I'm going to give you a listing here of another 5 Canadian sites that are more specific to Canadian job search. And then we're going to go on and talk a little bit more about LinkedIn, because I absolutely love LinkedIn. As I mentioned to you already, it's one of my favorites. And I'll talk to you just briefly today about how you can use LinkedIn with your job search. So the other 6 sites should be showing up on your screen here in just a minute. I apologize for the little bit of a lag in the screen share. Here we are. Canjobs.com would be number 1. Canadajobs.com, number 2. Ogopogo Media, which is interesting, ogopogomedia.com, jobsearch.ca, and workopolis.com. So these come up as 6 Canadian sites that you can also consider for your job search. And remember, just by putting your resumes out on these sites by themselves is not enough, but it is a good place for you to start with your searches. I want to go on next and talk a little bit more about using LinkedIn for job search, but I'm getting a message here on. I'm getting a message here from my daughter Jennifer, who's our HR manager that's joining us here today, and she's mentioned, even though it may not show up in the Alexa rankings quite as high, she's given me a list of a couple more that compete with Indeed.com. She also likes Indeed.com, but she's mentioning to me here that Eluta, ELUTA.ca is a really big site in Canada for job search, and also wowjobs.ca. So add those to your portfolio. Eluta, ELUTA.ca, and wowjobs, WOWjobs.ca. And they compete quite heavily with Indeed.com as well. So thank you, Jennifer, for that. See, it's awesome to be out here in Alberta and being able to share this information with you direct from an HR manager. So using LinkedIn for job search, just briefly today, I'm not going to spend an overwhelming amount of time. You'll be getting more of this from me as you go through the Key Success Factor for Graduates training. But there is a Jobs tab, and it's at the top of the where your LinkedIn profile tabs are. If you click on the Jobs tab, you can search by job title, keyword, company name. You can search by country. All the different industries are there. The different functions are there. And salary level, you can't search by salary level unless you upgrade to the Job Seeker Premium. Now, I'm not sure if Job Seeker, when they offer the premium, if they ever offer free times, but up in the top right-hand corner of the LinkedIn site, you'll see try premium for free. It's not specifically the Job Seeker Premium, but just the premium status for free. And it gives you extra abilities if you have a premier membership. And I've done this myself. If you are going to have a concentrated effort for the next 30 days to be really using LinkedIn and using it as a job search tool, you might try the free service for 30 days and then cancel it after 30 days. So feel free to check out what the requirements are for the Job Seeker Premium, and if they have any free time or status that you can use, take advantage of it, and then just make sure that it's a real concentrated time that you're using it. The other thing that I want to draw to your attention on this page, in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see jobs you may be interested in. And one of the reasons that LinkedIn is such a great tool is that they will provide you with jobs that you may be interested in on a fairly regular basis. If the jobs are showing up on your profile and they're not jobs that you're specifically interested in, then your profile is written wrong. Listen, think about that a little bit. LinkedIn is not just supposed to be reciting your resume. LinkedIn should be used in your job search as a tool for you to be forward-thinking, to be thinking into the future of where you want your career taking you. It needs to be written as such. It needs to be written so that it's future thinking and forward-looking. Okay, so if the jobs that are showing up that they're suggesting for you are not jobs you're interested in, your profile's written wrong. It needs to be revamped. It doesn't mean you can fabricate anything on this, obviously, but you have, and your past experience is your past experience. Now you can spin it a little bit by using some of the keywords in your descriptions and trying to pick up the parts of your job that you were most interested in. So those are the keywords that it's searching. You also have the power of your summary, where you can be talking about, again, the parts of your experience and the direction that you're wanting your career to go, and using keywords. So remember that LinkedIn is keyword driven. And so jobs that you're interested in are going to be coming up from keywords you use in your profile. So you want to be using keywords that are forward thinking, that are giving you opportunity to display the direction you want your career to go. So it's not a historical resume, it's a forward-thinking live document, and that's the way I want you to think about LinkedIn. There are smaller ways that you can use LinkedIn. If you just Google, for example, LinkedIn for job search, it's going to come up with a list of alternate sites that use the power of LinkedIn from a keyword perspective to drive people to their sites. One of the sites is Adzuna, ADZUNA, Adzuna. And when I type in LinkedIn for job search and I go to Adzuna, I've got a screenshot there. It'll be for another second. There you are. 923 LinkedIn jobs in Canada at the time that I did this search, and that they're all summarized through Adzuna. You can scale this by salary level. You can scale this by location. In Canada, it tells you how many are in British Columbia, how many in Alberta, all from LinkedIn. So it's scanning the LinkedIn site, and it's giving you good summary information about different kinds of jobs that are available. So Google, and at that particular time, there was 923 jobs in Canada that were currently available, and Adzuna's got the good summary. So use LinkedIn as much as you can. The other thing that I like LinkedIn for, and it comes under the job search tab on your profile, is that it will tell you what are all the jobs that are currently available on LinkedIn that are from companies within your network of people that you know. So in my case, and I have a screenshot again, will be coming up here very quickly here, with a group of companies that I have quite a large LinkedIn profile following, and it shows me, Here's your screenshot. Accenture, you see right in the middle of the screen, Accenture Careers, which is a consulting company, 5,459 jobs posted on LinkedIn for Accenture. Ford Motor Company, 833 jobs posted on LinkedIn. So what makes us valuable? Well, once you know that there's that many jobs, you can now go to the company website, you can check out the jobs, you can search through your LinkedIn profile and see who are the people that you're already connected with that have jobs at these companies. You know there's people there because that's how this came to show up on your profile. These are jobs within your network of people that you know with the companies that they work for. So you already have connections with people from these different companies, and they're telling you that there's jobs there available. So what a great resource for you to start searching. Again, I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking to you about LinkedIn because I do go into it pretty extensively in the training. But the last thing that I will tell you is if you are being interviewed for a specific position in a specific company, I would Google that position and that company on LinkedIn and find who are the people that are currently in that role that are on LinkedIn who currently have that job, and read their profiles. Read how they describe the job. Sometimes it's a little bit different from what the actual job description or the formal job description is. You'll get to learn the language of the industry, keywords that they use. Okay, so a really good thing to do is to Google the position in the company that you are interviewing for and learn more about them. You'll be really surprised. And if someone's a direct contact, you can decide, or a first level contact, you can decide if it's worth reaching out to them and asking them questions about the company or anything that you might, that they could help you with about the company. You can even go as far as, if you're told who is going to be interviewing you, to Google the people that are going to be interviewing you, get to know a little bit more about them. So I love LinkedIn. There's so many different uses for LinkedIn. The other thing that I'll say about LinkedIn is it's not to be used so much for, other than for research. You're not reaching out and cold calling strangers. LinkedIn is really to be used as a tool. I think of it as shaking hands with people you already know. It's a way to stay in touch with people that you already know. It's a way of building your contact file, and no way better because they're keeping it up to date themselves. So you never lose track of people that are within your network. And it's really important that you start building your network now, even before you need it. Okay, so if you're somebody that's listening who's still at school, still at university, second or third year, I know there's a few of you that are in the Key Success Factor program in second or third year, now is when you start building your network of students you're going to class with, the professors, different employer contacts that you make through the years that come to presentations. Start building that network now before you need it. And these people you can later shake hands with through the world of LinkedIn and stay in touch. So back to that original message, you see that, I really expect you to be proactive in your job search, and there's a lot of ways that you can do that. Simply sending out resumes, 100 resumes isn't going to cut it. You need to get out there and be meeting people. You need to be clear with what it is that you're looking for. When someone says to me, I'm just looking for a job, I don't really ever think of them. People say, I'll take anything. That doesn't help me. But if you tell me that you really like sports cars, and then something comes up for a sports car company like BMW Financials or Mercedes-Benz Financials, I might think of you because we'd already had that discussion. And it doesn't even matter if you tell different people different things. You just want to put ideas in people's heads of different companies, different positions, or different industries that you're interested in. So when something comes up, they think, oh, I was just talking to so-and-so and they were thinking that they like to work in that industry. So that's how the connections start to happen. So we're getting close to closing out today's session. I want to review for you the dates that for June and the content that I'll be covering for June. I want to hold you accountable to complete the Key Success Factor for Project Graduates program in the month of June. And I want you to really start using it this month as a proactive tool. Now, the other thing that I'll share with you is I know that, it is June, and that many of you will have taken part-time or summer jobs for the summer at this particular point because something full-time didn't come up for you, and that's absolutely okay. A couple of things can happen here. Number one, that part-time summer job can turn into full-time. I can't tell you how many times this has happened with students, especially if it's with a fairly large company. If you can get a summer job with a fairly large company and the fit works out really, really well, they will do almost everything they can to find a role for you by the time that summer position is done. So I've seen that happen many, many times. With students. And the second thing that can happen is that you take this summer job, it gets you relocated, gets you into the area that you want to be living and working. You start your networking in that particular area. And the next big full-time hiring season starts for September. So by the middle of August on, you have to understand that a lot of people vacation in the business world in the month of July. So, things soften a little bit then. It's a good job you've got a part-time job. You continue working away at it. You can continue preparing all your job search documents and your contacts and going through this training program. And then come middle of August, you're going full on again for September full-time hires. So you want to be prepared for that. So the dates that we have for June and the topics that we're going to be covering for June are first, June 3rd, Key Success Factor 1 and Key Success Factor 2. I'll be covering those. June 10, I'll be covering off the money mindset topic. June 17, Key Success Factor 4 and 5 is know your customers and colleagues and know your product. I'll be covering off on June 17. June 24 is Key Success Factor 6 and Key Success Factor 7, which is connector mindset and learn through action. So I'm doing this at this pace so that you can, if you want to follow along with me in each of these weeks, cover off these key success factors yourself, use these as your own deadlines to get them finished, then that would be absolutely great. But I want you to know that you have access to all of them. If you want to cram this in over a weekend and do all the key success factors from 1 to 7 and get them done, you have the ability to do that. But right now, I don't want you dragging this out much longer than this. I want you to get these done and really prepare you. And what you'll come to know, I've had some students say to me that one of their aha moments going through this training was learning that my success in my job search has really got more to do with my own mindset and the confidence that I have going into this as much as it does my skills. And those comments are absolutely right. When I get that kind of feedback from students that they get that, it's amazing. I really appreciate the feedback from the students. So please join us for any one or all 4 of these sessions. The other thing, we're going to go to the chat box. I see that Zishan, I think it is, has answered my question. I want to go back and talk a little bit more about that. But the last thing that I'll say about these 4 dates in June is that I did already tell you that I'm in Alberta. My daughter is expecting a baby in the next week or so. So if for any of these dates I'm not available to do this live with you as we are today, I will have pre-recorded each one of these sessions. And what always happens after the session is that within a few hours, I think it's within 5 hours after the session, you'll get an email from me with a replay link of the session. And if I'm unable to do it live, I will make sure that the replay link on any one of those days that I'm not available to be here live with you, I'll make sure the replay link goes out so you still don't miss the lesson part. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me. Let's just go back to the chat box and see if I can, let me just, so Shishan, thank you very much. Is saying, I know there's a lot of options in the job market, but I don't know what they are. And for example, I don't even know there's a job title called marketing analyst until after chatting with my professor. And very great comment. So there is something out there that we call the hidden job market, very much alive and well out there. And so that hidden job market, part of this learning is figuring out how do you tap into that hidden job market. And there's a lot of ways through some of the things we talked about today with using LinkedIn is one way of tapping into that job market. Googling, if you do a search for even just marketing, you should see a list of other marketing job titles that would come up, and marketing analyst would be the one. And you raise a really good point when you say marketing analyst. I love the word analyst. Almost anything analyst is a great thing to have on your resume, whether it's financial analyst, business analyst, cost analyst, marketing analyst. Any of the analyst type roles indicate to me that there's some decision making in the role, that you're doing a little bit of analysis of some type, collecting information, doing a little bit of an analysis, and preparing recommendations. That's what analyst means to me. It's a very broad term, but it's one that's well respected in industry. So anytime you can tack the word analyst onto a position, I think you need to do that. So that's a job search term that I would be using as often as you can. And as we go through the Key Success Factor training, you're going to see more and more. I'm going to be talking more and more about that hidden job market and how you can tap into it. You can also, and Jennifer's just sent me a note here through our admin chat as well, and is telling me that you can Google National Occupational Classifications. So again, it's National Occupational Classifications. And at that site, they will give you job titles, they will give you job descriptions. So the acronym for National Occupational Job Titles, she's telling me, is NOC. So there'll be a variety of job titles, job descriptions, and sample salaries for these different related job descriptions that are out there. So a really good resource for you is the National Occupational Classifications. And thank you, Jennifer. Happy to have you joining us today and providing those tips back to the folks that we've got listening today. So there you have it. There's some great insight to get you started. And please join me next week as we start Key Success Factor 1 and Key Success Factor 2. Now know that I'm not going to be going through all the particular exercises on those days, because you can do that on your own by watching the videos and going through the exercises. That's the whole idea, is this program is self-sufficient, self-contained. But what I am going to be doing is giving you an overview, giving you some of the thinking about the topics, some of my ideas behind the power of the topics of those 7 different key success factors. And my job is to make this Q&A, answer some of your questions, and to also keep you motivated to get through the program in the month of June. So thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you, Jisan. I'm happy to answer your question. And please stay in touch. You can reach me at Deborah@ebizcoach.ca, and I welcome your feedback anytime. So I think with that, I'm going to sign off for today. I'd like to keep these short and succinct as much as we can, and I look forward to talking to you next week. So cheers for now.